It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I had the privilege to interview the athletic director of Corinth Holders, Scotty Williams. How are you doing today?
Not too bad, Brandon. How are you, man?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to become an athletic director?
So that was a fun journey in my life. I started as a basketball coach, and I was focused on basketball. And a lot of young coaches, it's all that sport all the time. But I decided I wanted to get into athletic administration around the time I was working with a guy named Jimmy Williams. I was at West Johnston High School, and Jimmy was the football coach and athletic director. And he asked me to help him out in a few places. And I was really hooked as soon as I got into it, kind of the administrative side, the supportive side, helping all the coaches and athletes get to their best. And then I had some other guys like Brian Roach and Joey Worley and Josh Plisco really jumped in and helped. Josh, the absolute most, as the athletic director at West. I was the Robin to his Batman, and it really just kind of grew from there. But it's really just a love of helping people and supporting sports so that they can do the best work.
Can you talk about your experience so far as being the athletic director of Corinth Holders?
I've been telling pretty much anybody who will listen that I've gotten incredibly lucky to be here at Corinth Holders because it is an incredible coaching staff, great people, fantastic school, top quality. The administration is great. My experience has really been nothing but positive, and I continue to be floored on a daily basis at how great our staff is at turning around and supporting each other, especially, with what we're dealing with right now. They've just been incredible.
Can you talk about what a success you've had in the football program, bringing on the former North Lenore head coach?
Coach Collins, obviously it's tough to gauge immediate impact at this point because we've had Coach Collins for a few workouts, and obviously we would have a couple games in if this were a normal year. But Coach Collins has done a tremendous job. He has come in and been an all-hands-on-deck kind of guy, get in and get his hands dirty kind of guy. He's been out working on the field. I've enjoyed watching his work and workouts. He's very detail-oriented. And you can just tell when a coach talks with such a depth of knowledge. And Coach Collins is clearly bringing that to our offense. And myself and Coach Kavari couldn't be happier with what he's been doing.
How many championships does Corinth Holders have in all of their sports?
That is a fantastic question. We actually have we got banners up in the gym because prior to where we are now, I'm sure you know right now we're in the Northern Athletic Conference. I heard you with Coach Kavari yesterday talking about what a competitive conference it is, and it very much is. But before that, we were in a conference called the Two Rivers Conference, and had quite a bit of success in the Two Rivers Conference. I can tell you that in terms of state success, we have actually had several teams go to the state championship between baseball, which, if you're familiar, made a run just 2 years ago, and also our women's soccer team made a very similar run recently as well. So we have successful athletic programs here.
What is the main opponents that you face in the new conference that you're in?
So across most of the sports, our conferences, Wake Forest, Wakefield, Knightdale, Rollsville, and I always get mixed up. Heritage, yes. Cannot forget Heritage and with Pat Kennedy and what they do there. But with most of our sports, Wake Forest and Heritage are driving the bus because they're very, very good. Very, very good schools, great athletic programs. They both have, really high-level programs across the board. In county, we would like to say we keep up with Clayton and Cleveland as much as possible. We definitely want to be the biggest C in the county one way or the other, so that's one of our goals.
Can you talk about the YouTube channel that y'all created for the athletic department and the segment Take a Lap and what that's about?
So to let the cat out of the bag a little bit, Take a Lap is my very loving homage to Jay Billis. If you're a college basketball fan, you might be familiar with 94 Feet. It was a great segment he did where he would just grab a kid and they would walk the length of the basketball court and they would discuss topics. I saw that and I thought, man, that'd be a really cool thing to do. And so around the time I was at West Johnson as the assistant AD, we were getting ready to bring in a new football coach, a guy named Jermaine Harper. And I said, man, this would be a really, really cool thing to just let the people get to know him before they get to know him. Because when we hire a new coach, there's so much interest in the community, and they want to get to know as much about the person as soon as possible. And we wanted to enable that process. So Take a Lap has really kind of grown from there, and it's just been a really fun way to both help our community get to know new people and help them get to know some of our high achievers. At Corinth, we've done, Justin Stevens, who made his way and was a McDonald's All-American. And we also had Ashley McLam, who was a cheerleader who received a large honor within the state. And, we just like to highlight those achievements as much as possible. And that's really the point of social media, to highlight our athletes.
How has the football team's success been since the pandemic?
So I want to take this opportunity to celebrate our athletes and our coaching staff on the football team, because this is a highly unusual season. In fact, it came across my arbiter that there was a football game that we had scheduled Friday. We get a little message that they canceled the game and removed it. It was a heartbreaking moment because we'd be ready for football games. But our kids have been incredibly resilient. We resumed workouts a few weeks ago, holding pause for dead periods and whatnot. But we resumed workouts a few weeks ago, and I cannot say enough good things about how well our kids jumped in. We had to take their temperatures, do the symptom check. Some of them and their parents had to wait in line for screenings while we did all that stuff. But the kids showed up, and they've been staying 6 feet apart at workouts and really working on the work. So I just really tip of the cap to our athletes and the coaching staff for adjusting to such a crazy process, and definitely the parents, because I know it's been hectic for the parents as well. But we just appreciate everything they've done. They've been great.
Can you talk about how the coronavirus has affected sports, and now you're trying to bounce back due to not having sports in the spring being cut short?
Sure. So there are several really critical and drastic effects to this. So the first one, and the most important one, is our athletes have lost games, they've lost seasons. For example, all of our spring athletes from last year really got robbed because they lost the opportunity to have their senior season. Many of our teams only played 1 or 2 games at home. Our court tennis team had so many games moved for weather that they didn't get to play a game or get to play a match before things happened. And all of our teams lost opportunities to play. We had a great baseball season with the little bit of time that we had, but those seniors we had leadership at every position that they were poised to make a really deep run. And Coach Weaver and his staff, who had done such a great job with those kids, lost that opportunity too. So there's that human cost, and then there's that financial cost. High school athletics does run on a budget of somewhere around $100,000 to $120,000 a year in spending, and a large amount of that is made up through ticket sales at games. And so I would estimate, and again, my math teacher would love me throwing numbers around, but roughly $20,000 of revenue lost in the spring and 60 to 70 lost in the fall. So the effect is really hard to understate, among other small logistical concerns.
With the coronavirus still in effect, do you see that fall sports will be pushed back even further?
So one of the things my coaching staff has already told me over and over and over again is I'm an optimist. Sometimes to the foolish level, but that's optimism. I'm optimistic that we will have the opportunity to play. That's with no knowledge of what's happening. On my calendar up here, I've got it marked. We're all waiting for Governor Cooper's next update, and we're hoping that it's got some good news in it. We encourage everybody as much as possible to do their part to help, to help us move forward and get to that next phase, which would involve us being able to play athletics. So whatever guidance we're getting, from the state, the 3 Ws and all that, please make sure that we're taking those steps, because at the end of the day, these kids deserve a chance to play, and we need to do whatever is possible to help them. But I am optimistic that we will play some athletics this year at some point.
Can you talk about playing in the conference with Cleveland, Wake Forest, and Clayton, and how that has been so far?
Well, Cleveland and Clayton are not in our conference. They're in our county. They're not in our conference. But having Clayton as a rival is amazing. I'm an old school Duke Carolina guy, so I think a great rivalry really builds and gives you the ability to do a lot and can really strengthen what you do. One of my first games as the athletic director here, managing the event, was our home game with Clayton, our home basketball game, and the gym was packed. Our student section was showing out. The comic crew was certainly showing out, as they always do. Denny and the basketball team for them did a great job against our guys. But having those great in-county rivals really breeds competition and allows you to grow your profile, because you want to be the best in the yard. We would really like to be the biggest C in the yard, but we just got to keep working on it. And Wake Forest, it's hard to, Coach Kavari nailed it yesterday when he talked about Coach Lucas and the system he's put in place. That's a really hard standard to meet, and we're really excited to try to meet it.
Do you see in the future having more teams in your conference, like, for example, playing Holly Springs and Cleveland and Clayton, and even maybe some teams out here like Aycock and Rosewood?
So it was the $1 million question. Realignment was the $1 million question before the coronavirus hit. But now that we're looking at realignment, we have the possibility to bring some more teams into our conference. And right now, I could tell you something, and it would very likely be incorrect later, because there's just so many different models and so many different ideas. I can tell you that of the teams you named, the teams we are least likely to see in conference are Rosewood and Aycock, as they are 1 and 2A schools. And our numbers and our student numbers are so high that we are pushing the edge of 4A. We're one of the, judging by ADMs, I believe we're one of the 20 largest high schools in the state. So we're not going anywhere into lower conferences. But there's a chance that based on the ADMs, the school like Clayton or Cleveland could come up and join us in 4A, and then they would be in our conference. But again, there's a lot of things left to figure out where it comes to that.
What advice would you give upcoming athletic directors looking to get into the profession?
It is the coolest job in the world. The advice I would give is go to your athletic director's office at your school. If you're at school right now and you're working at a school, go to your athletic director's office and knock on the door and just say, tell me what I can do to help. Now, that first day, they might just not give you anything, and they might just say, well, but come back the next day. Hey, how can I help? And because that's how it really starts. For me, it started with just a love for all things behind the scenes. And the other piece of advice is stay for everything. Go to everything. Because for me, my best learning experience as an athletic director was sitting on the gator with Josh Plisco at West Johnston High School as we're watching soccer, as we're watching football, as we're watching, as we're watching basketball, the different sports, and really learning all the different scenarios you could come across as an athletic director. Just get that experience, and to get the experience, you got to go there.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with Corinth Holders at on social media?
So I will tell you, my social media account is not very much fun to look at personally, because I really don't post much other than the pictures of my kids and the occasional positive message. But social media for Corinth Holders at CH Pirate Sports on Instagram and Twitter. You can also find us at facebook.com/CH Pirate Sports. That's where the awesome stuff is. Personally, I'm on Twitter at Teach Coach Serve, and that's really about the extent of it. I spend most of my time trying to make our social media better for our kids.
Thank you again, Scotty, for your interview, and best of luck in the future at Corinth Holders.
Thanks for the opportunity, Brandon.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Scotty, for your interview.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.